All right, everybody, let's go ahead. Let's get started. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to School Communication for the 21st Century. I'm your host, Ryan Clancy, and I'm the Client Success Manager here at Educational Networks. I'm excited to have all of you joining us here today. Now, just as always, before we get started, we do have a game plan for our training session. What we'll start off with is by talking about how school communication has changed and also the ways that your educational network's website can help. At that point, we're going to go in and see how to work with the social media integration feature with your website. That's where you can go in and you can actually link your Facebook and Twitter channels to the software of the site. The benefit being is it's going to actually allow you to be able to go in and to be able to post content from your website. So from a total of 6 different features on your website over to your social media. So that can really be a great time saver. At that point, we'll also have a chance to see the steps involved with linking a Google Calendar. That can also be a great time saver. So you are able to go in and you can set it up so that either your Google Calendar updates your site calendar or vice versa. So we'll definitely have a chance to see that. We'll also have a chance to take a look at homepage alerts and also discuss your mobile app as well. Now, remember, everyone, questions are encouraged. Please feel free to ask any questions you have. To ask questions, what you'll want to do is you'll want to click on the little bubble icon that's on your go-to training control panel, and I'll be happy to assist. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and let's get started. So this is something that's really interesting to note here. You know, when we think of the ways that school communication has changed, think about it this way. In 1995, 18 million households had modem equipment. Think about that. That means back in the 1990s, specifically, of course, 1995 here, most homes in the United States did not have internet access. Now, on the other hand, if we compare that to today, mobile technology has drastically changed over the past decades. So think about this. In 2019, 95% of 3 to 18-year-olds had home internet access. And this is something that was prior to COVID. And COVID even increased that even further, of course, as well. So access to mobile technology, it's grown, it's also drastically changed. Now, what this means is that mobile technology is more available than ever before. The great thing is that the site that you already have offers features that are very well suited to our mobile world. So what features do we have available to us right now? Well, one of these being is, of course, the social media integration. So we're going to go in and take a look at this here. So you can seamlessly post to Facebook and Twitter. So as I mentioned, there's a total of 6 different features that make use of this. So what those are is news, calendars, as well as the photo album, the video gallery, the community mailer, and the spotlight feature. Now, 4 of those 6 features are going to allow you to be able to share content to your social media at the exact same time that you're going in and adding content to your site, which is pretty cool. So definitely, when a lot of us, of course, are receiving information through social media, this can be a really great time saver. And it's also a great way, it's another way to connect with our school communities as well. Now, also, of course, we have a mobile app that is available to all EduNet clients. So with your website, you're either going to have access to the free version of our app, but also, and this is something that's available in select markets at an additional cost, you do also have access if you're interested in it. So this is, again, something that's available in select markets to a branded version of the app as well. So definitely something we're going to have a chance to go in and take a look at today. Great thing is about the app as well is that in a lot of ways, it's largely self-run. What I mean by that is that you don't have to go to 2 separate places to be able to update the app. When you update something in the CMS, It updates on the browser version of the website, but it also updates in the app as well. Now, of course, we talked about this a little bit already, but Google Calendar integration. One thing that I didn't mention just yet about that is that it's not just the main calendar that has the option for Google Calendar integration. If your staff's making use of teacher pages, they can also use that as well. A lot of teachers do make use of this, which is cool. And then with that as well, of course, is our homepage alert. Whenever you all have joined me with for the trainings, of course, I always mention that the homepage alert is the most visible part of the site, and it definitely is. Speaking of the app, it also appears on the app as well. And it looks like we have our first question here. Oh, Carlos, absolutely. I'd be happy to share about that. So the 6 features that offer the social media integration, they're going to be news, calendars, as well as the photo album, video gallery, spotlight, and also the community mailer as well. All right, everyone. So we've talked a little bit about these different features. Let's go in and take a look and see how to work with these different options. So what we're going to start with first is social media integration. So what I'm going to do first, everybody, is I'm going to go in and I am going to sign in. And while that's pulling up, one thing I'm going to share here as well in the chat, speaking of social media, we do offer a Facebook group for website admins. Now, what's cool about that, and just something important to note about that as well, is that when you're going in and when you sign up for that, one of the cool things is that a lot of cases we post new resources that we share, new videos to the Facebook group first, which is pretty cool. So if you are interested in going in and sharing that or joining us for that, I'm going to go ahead and drop the link to our Facebook group right in the chat there as well. Now, remember, everybody, if you have any questions, just feel free to ask, and I will be happy to go ahead and happy to help. So I've gone in, everyone, and I've signed in. Now, something that is important to note, of course, is before we have the option for social media, we're going to want to make sure that we connect our site to Facebook and Twitter. And I want to make sure to show you where you're going to go to do that. This is a time that you're going to go in and you're actually going to go in to our settings. So this is done by going in and heading over to our famous waffle button. So we go in, we select it, and then after that, we'll go in and we're going to head over here to settings. My apologies. After that, once we've opened settings up, what we do is we click on the drop down, and then after that, we'll go in and we're going to go over to where it says social media. I do want to mention, you may notice that it does have an option on here for Instagram. So it is really important to know what that specifically is for. So that is not for the social media integration. That's specifically for if you have an embedded feed for your Instagram channel. It's a great option. With the way Instagram's designed, it has to be linked through the software of the site before that embedded feed is able to appear on your page. But otherwise, we have Twitter and Facebook here. If you have not set up the social media integration just yet, no worries. You're going to have a button here that says connect. And basically what happens is you'll select that, and it's going to prompt you to sign in to your Facebook or Twitter account. You'll want to sign into an account that is designated as, either a manager or an admin on your Facebook and Twitter pages so you can go in and enable it. Now, the nice thing is about this setup is that it does essentially go in and walk you through the steps. Now, after you've gone in and after you completed this, this is when you're going to be able to make use of that social media integration. So let's say that as an example that we have something really cool happening here at Green Tech High. Maybe as an example, we're launching all new programs, all new perhaps tracks that are going to be offered to students. And we want to use news to share about that. Well, the cool thing about that, news is one of the features that does make use of the social media connection. So I'm going to first go in and pull up what I've written out for this. Just a moment. There we are. All righty, everyone. So what we do, keeping in mind that news is one of the 4 of the 6 features that allows you to post to social media at the same time you're adding content to the site, we're going to go in and write out our news post. So for this, what we do is we go in, we click on the menu button, and then after this, what we'll do is we're going to go in, we'll go to information and news. So just as we always have. Now, one of the things that's cool about this is that we can preview what these posts look like. You'll notice that you have a little Twitter icon, a little Facebook icon here. And if you go in and you click on that, it allows you to see what this will look like. So that's something that's going to be pretty cool. And actually, it links back over to your channel for that. So that's something there that is pretty cool. So we see that. So these are all posts that were sent over by our website. But let's go in and see how to add to this for ourselves. So I go in and start this off as I normally would. And this is great, this way I can post essentially from one location and send this content over to Twitter and Facebook at the same time. So especially with the end of the school year right around the corner and soon after the start of 2023, 2024, right after that, this can really be a great time saver. So in this case, green tech does have more than one category. So I'll go in and choose the one that I want to go in and I want to add to. So in this case, I'll go in, I'll check news and announcements. And then after that, what I'm going to do is I'll just start by writing out our headline. I'll type out something, just something simple, such as Green Tech High is offering all new programs. Now, after that, we have the option for our summary. Now, the summary is great because, of course, it goes right on the homepage, but this is also something that is shared to Facebook and Twitter. So we want to remember it's not all the content from a post that's going to be going to our social. It's key content. So specifically in this case for news, headline, summary, and the cover photo, and most importantly, a link back to your school's website as well. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and get the summary. Now, just as always with the summary, and this is something that's particularly important, of course, for Twitter, there's a little bit of a character limit. So that's just something that we'll want to go in and we'll want to keep in mind. So we go in, we're filling out the form. That brings us, of course, to where we're able to go in and we can write out our main news story. So to do that, we're going to use this text editor, which itself is an important part of the website. Now, just as always with news, and anytime we see this text editor, we want to remember that when we're pasting something in here, we first switch it to plain text. And the reason we want to do that is, at least for the content that's being added to the site, this makes sure that essentially all that formatting that we add on after stays intact. Otherwise, if you paste in rich formatting, and that's of course where you have all those options, sometimes that kind of causes the text to go all over the place. So this just helps us prevent that. So I paste in our content, and then after I do that, now I can add on any formatting that I like. So as an example, to help with the formatting for this post, I might want to go in and add on a horizontal rule. But looking this over, it does look pretty good otherwise. Now, after we've gone in and we've added this on, and so far, just as always with this, we've just gone in and essentially filled out a form. Now we can add a file. So especially when we're going to be going in and sharing content from this post to Facebook and Twitter, the best thing we can do here is we can add a photo. That also goes over to Twitter and Facebook as well. So let's definitely go in and do that. Now, the same way we add files to an email, It's exactly what we're doing here. So in this case, I go in, click choose files, and then from here, I go in and I find the photo here that I want to go in and I want to use. Let's see here. Let's find a good photo to go along with this. So in this case, we'll go with this one. Click open. Now, in terms of making it so that this photo goes in the home page, we always want to remember there's one more thing here that we need to go in and that we need to do. And all that is we just want to go in and click on the photo. We click on it, we see this gray border surrounding it. That is our indicator that this is set to go in and set to appear on our home page. Our news post is looking pretty good. Now, scrolling down a little bit further, now we see the options to post to Facebook and Twitter. So to make this happen, all we need to go in and do is we just check these boxes. And when we do that, what happens is it pulls up these fields here for us. So what this means is that we can definitely go in and edit the content in this area. Now, particularly for Twitter, of course, we want to keep in mind there is that character limit. So that is just something that we want to go in and we want to keep in mind. We actually start to see it come into play here a little bit right after where it says marine technology. So just something there that is important to note. But otherwise, all we do is we go in, we click save, and let's take a look and see what our posts look like. So let's go back to Facebook. Oops, hang on one second. So we're going to go back there. So actually, since we're already on the home page, we see that we have our new post. We see our headline and summary. We can view more details by clicking on the headline. But if we want to go in and see what our post is going to look like on our social media channels, just as before, we go back to the menu button. We head over here to information. We select news. And then from here, I go in. So as an example, if I want to preview what this looks like on Facebook, I click on the link. And we can see now that we have, in fact, successfully shared key content from this important news post to our social media channels. So we've seen one of the ways that, and it's one of many, that our site helps us communicate with our school communities. One of the great ways that we can do that. Let's take a look at another, specifically how we can go in and link over to our Google Calendars. So just like the social media integration, linking to Google Calendars can also be a really great time saver. Now, if I go in and look at the calendar here, I see that there's no future events on here. That's okay though, because what we're going to do is we're going to go in and fix this. Let's take a closer look, everybody. So to start with, what I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate over to the calendar module as I normally would. So I would start by going in, and as always, I'm going to go in and head over to our main menu button. Now, once we go in and we select that, we're just going to navigate over to calendars just as we normally would. So we go to information, calendars. Now, what we'll do instead here, instead of clicking add event, we're going to venture over here right to where it says main calendar. After that, you'll go in, select manage calendars. Then you go in, you click main calendar, or whichever calendar you want to link. And at the bottom of the window, you'll have your Google Calendar options. So this includes the option to go in and to do a one-time import. However, if you're looking for more of those automated updates, The better option is definitely linking your Google Calendar. So let's take a look, everybody, and see how we can set this up. I go in, click Link Google Calendar. I choose an account, click Allow. So essentially walks us through the steps. Now, these next two steps are very critical for this to work here. And one of them being is we want to make sure we choose the correct calendar. So in this case, I'm going to go in and select Public School Calendar. I go in, I click Choose Calendar, and this is the last step. Once we complete this, this is going to be set to go here. So looking at this, we have three really main options here. The first option is that we can set it up so that the website pushes calendar events to our Google Calendar. That can really be a great option for like an internal calendar, so a staff-only calendar. After that, you can set it up so that the Google Calendar is going to update your website calendar for you. So that can be a cool option as well. But you don't necessarily have to choose. What's cool is you can set this up so that both calendars will go in and they will update one another. Now, it's important to note that it is specific information that is being either sent to Google Calendar or being brought to the website. What it is specifically is going to be the title, date, time, and the location of the event as well. So in this case, I want the convenience of allowing both calendars to update one another. So for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and set this to both. I go in and I click Create Link. And I see we have some questions coming in. That's awesome, everyone. So what happens now is I exit out of this area. I refresh the screen. And we can see that we brought over new Google Calendar events here. All right, everyone, let's take a quick look at these questions here. And we have a great suggestion here from Stephen. Stephen suggests when creating a new announcement, put the file in an active status right after putting the headline and subhead. And then he also mentions to save and then go back to add content. And then also, and this is a great suggestion, to periodically save until you're ready to publish. And this is great as well because sometimes, of course, if there's an issue with the internet or power, this makes sure that your work stays safe. That's an excellent suggestion, Stephen. Thank you for going in and sharing that. And Stephen also mentions as well to click the Twitter and Facebook options only when you're ready to publish. So definitely. So that's something that's important to know. One thing too is that if you ever forget to go in, and I've done this before when doing webinars, to share to Facebook and Twitter, what's cool is that you can go in and you could go back into your news post or calendar event and then go in and share that over. So that's something that's important to know. Stephen, those are great suggestions. I appreciate you going in and sending those over. Thank you. Now, going in and taking a look at our calendar, I want to show you something here. Let's see what it looks like when we go in and add an event from our Google Calendar and then have that come over to our website calendar. So what I'm going to say, everybody, is that as an example that on Thursday, we're planning on hosting a college fair at Green Tech. So we're going to say that it's going to be all day. So maybe this is going to go in and start at 9 a.m. And we'll go in and have it go, we're going to say all the way to 2:30. So I fill this out. And then after that, we can add these details on. So we'll type in Green Tech High Gym. Perfect. And then after that, if we have a description, we can add that on here as well. So we go in and paste this in. I add the description on. And then after I do that, I go in and I click save. So let's see what this looks like on the website now. I go in, I refresh my screen, and I get to see that we've successfully. So just right here, right now, we added this event right over to Google Calendars, and now it's appearing on the site calendar. And if we want to click on this to view even more details, we can. So we're able to see everything that we've just got in, and we pasted it in there. So this right here in itself can really be an awesome, awesome time saver for there. Now remember everyone, if you ever have questions about linking to social media or linking your Google Calendars, please feel free to either reach out to myself or our tech support team, and we're here to help. We'll be happy to go in and to help with that. All right, everybody. So far, we've gone in, we've had a chance to go in and see how to add to news. Along with that, we've seen how to post to social media, but also how to not only link to Google Calendars, but along with that as well, we've also had a chance to go in and see how we can add an event from Google Calendars itself and then have that post over to the website. Now, let's take a look at something different. We're going to go in and take a look at what is arguably the most visible part of your website. And what that is your homepage alert. Now, to be honest with you, this is a feature that has a lot of great uses. So in this case, we see there is an event reminder. There's a reminder that open house is next Thursday. Definitely a great use for this. And this is something here that can definitely be used to drive event traffic, to drive attendance to that event. But at the same time, this can also be something that could be used to go in and to drive enrollment as well. You could add a link here to your school's enrollment application. So let's go ahead, everybody. Let's see how we can work with that. Now, when we're going in and adding to the homepage alert, in a lot of ways, it is just like a mini version of news and announcements. So I'm going to say that we want to post that enrollment applications are able to be filled out, that the school's accepting them. So my first step to add this on is I'm going to head over here to our main menu button. And then after that, I'm going to head, instead of going to information or photos and multimedia, we go over to messaging. After this, I select homepage alerts. There's something here that's important to keep in mind though. So we already have an active alert, right? It is important to note that at any given time, you are only able to have one active alert. Now, when you add a new alert, it won't delete this one. Instead, it makes it inactive. That way, later on, if you want to reuse it, you're able to go in and to do so. So to add this on, I'm going to start by going in and selecting Add Alert. And to start with, I'll go in and I'll start by adding on our header content. So I'll type in, as an example, Green Tech High is accepting enrollment applications for I almost put 2022 down for some reason. You need to put 2023, 2024. Cool. So we've written that out. Now, in this case, I've already written out the main content. So I'll go to where we have this stored. There it is. I'm just going to go in here I copy. And then after this, now I can go in and I'm ready to paste. I want to remember, just as we did previously, before we paste anything in here, just to switch this to plain text. But after I do that, after I paste this in, to get those formatting options back, what I can do is I can switch this over to rich formatting and then format this in any way that I like. Now, there's something that I always suggest that you do when you're going in and using the homepage alert. And this is something that you can do to make it as visible as possible and really as impactful as possible. This can help ensure that you can drive as many enrollment applications as possible. That is to always include either an image or a photo to go with your alert. Let's definitely go in and do that. So I'm going to go in, find a good photo to go with this. So in this case, why don't we go in? We're going to go with this one right here. I click open. Now just remember that if you want to have it so an alert is no longer appearing on your site, but maybe you want to keep it, you want to save it for later on, you might be reusing it maybe for something such as a recurring event. You don't have to delete your alerts. What you can do instead is you go back into the alert and you go to where it says status, you click on the drop down, and you just switch it so that instead it is inactive. So what I do here is I go in. I'm actually going to keep this as active, actually. I click save. So that has deactivated our previous alert. Now, this won't appear if you just refresh the screen. What you have to do first, in this case, actually it did. In most cases, though, you'll click on home, or if you navigate away from the home page and go back onto it, then your alert's going to appear. This is looking good, but there's one more thing that I want to go in and add on here, and that's a link to our enrollment application. So be just a moment. I'm going to go in and pull this up here. So let's see. There it is. So I'm going to start by copying the link. And then just like before, to go in and to, just like when we were adding this alert originally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into messaging. I click homepage alert. So it's similar to when if you wanted to edit a news post. And I just click on the current alert. I want to edit this. And I'm going to go in and switch it back to rich formatting. Now, it's important to remember that there are best practices when you are going in and you are adding links. Generally, you want to avoid anything that says click here, and that is for accessibility purposes. Reason is when someone's visiting a screen reader, if the only text that is linked is click here, there's really nothing there that can tell the screen reading program they use, and in turn, the person using the program, anything about that link. The best thing to do is have the exact title of that link or that document. So in this case, I'll type something simple out, such as Green Tech High 2023 to 2024 school year application. And then after that, I highlight over the text, click the link icon, and I can go in and add on our URL here. I click OK, click Save. Let's take a look, everybody, and see what this looks like now. I click home, and look at that, everybody. So what would happen here is a prospective student or a prospective or a parent of a prospective student, they would visit the site, they would see this, and it does encourage them to start the enrollment process, which is cool. They would just need to go in, they click on the link, and it brings them right to the application. Lots of uses for this here, everybody. Enrollment's great, upcoming events, severe weather, of course, if there's snow, anything like that, you need to share about that and update to the operations school. This can also really be a great way to go. And remember too, that this does also appear on your app. It updates at the exact same time on your app as well. Now that does bring us to everybody, the mobile app. So when we think of the mobile app, there's definitely some things here that are important to note. One of them being is that there's two versions of the app. So all of our clients here at Educational Networks have access to either a free version of the app or the branded version. Now, the great thing is that both versions have access to push notifications and also to anytime you update content in the CMS. For example, when we added to news today, that also updates in the app as well. So this is something here that's great because it goes a long way to going into eliminating double postings. Now, the question is, what exactly does the app look like? Well, it's going to look something that is going to be similar to this right here. So we have a little preview that we created for you all, everybody. It's going to look like this. So to start with, what we see here is we have kind of the dashboard of the app. It's kind of like the app equivalent to your homepage. So we have things such as news, video gallery we see right there, calendars, and the photo album as well. That also updates in the app as well. Now we have this. Now in terms of the navigation for the app as well, what's important to note too is that you can add items to the navigation menu that we just saw there too. Along with that, it also features a map, so you can have this here. So for new parents, new students, when they're wanting to go in, when they're driving to your school for the first time, that is available to them as well. And teachers can also accept homework assignments via the app as well. Students do need to go in and create an account for that, but that is another great feature that is available with that as well. Now, one of the things here, everybody, that I have mentioned about the mobile app is that, it's largely self-run. So what I mean by that, everyone, is that you really don't have to manage it separately from the browser versions of the site. When you update news on the CMS, so on the admin, that also updates in the app. Same thing for photos, sections, and pages as well. That being said, there are a couple of options that are available. One being is push notifications. So these are cool because what happens is when you send one of the push notifications, what ends up happening is it's not really a message that goes specifically to the app. Instead, the alert would appear right on the home screen of parents and students' mobile devices. They would just have to enable that when they go in and they download the app. Now, let's take a look and see how to send push notifications. It's really just as easy as sending a text message. What we would do for this is we would go in, we head over here to the main menu button, and we're going to go ahead and go back over to messaging. I select push notifications. And to start with, I would just go in, I click compose, and maybe we want to send a reminder about our upcoming college fair. What I would do, I would just start by going in and typing that out. So type in, as a reminder, we will not be holding regular classes on Thursday. We are hosting our college fair. And then a little reminder as well, bring resumes and professional attire. Now, one of the cool things we can do with the push notifications as well is that we can include images. Let's definitely do that. So for this, I click add image. I found a good photo to go with this, so maybe go with this one, and I click open. Now, one thing I want to point out as well is that you can add links, but also too, you can actually schedule your push notifications out as well. But in this case, we'll go in, we'll send this out right now. I go in, I click send. This will take just a moment. And I actually have received an indicator on my phone, so this has already been sent out. So this can really be another great way to be able to provide updates, but one that's really tailored for those mobile devices as well. Just something that's really important to note when you are going in and you are sending these alerts out is that in order for parents and students to receive these when they download the app, so whether that's your branded app or whether that's the free version of our app, the Educational Networks app, that is something that they do need to opt into when they are going in and setting that up there. So that is something there that is important to note. All right, everyone, looks like we have a question here. Let's see. Hi, Marianne. I'd be happy to show that. To access the alert to edit that, where you would go to do that is you would head over here to the main menu button. After that, what you'll do is you're going to head over here to messaging. You'll select homepage alerts. And to access your existing alert, you would just go in, you select the title, and you can make any changes here that you'd like. Thank you, Marianne. That's an excellent question. Feel free, everyone, to let me know if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to help. Now, there is one more thing with the mobile app that you can edit. So that is, you can edit what appears on the dashboard. So we want to remember that's kind of the homepage equivalent of the app. But you can also edit what appears on the main navigation. So the question is, where do we go to do this? Well, we access this by going in. We click on the main menu button. From here, we head over to settings. And then after that, we'll go in, we go to the drop down, and we're going to venture over here to mobile app. So as we look at this here, we have some options. So one of the things we see is where we can go in and add to the main navigation here for that. It's pretty easy to do. Basically, all you do for this is you just choose what you want to add on here. So as an example, maybe we want to add a link to the principal's message page. And that will appear at the bottom of the menu. But the cool thing is, too, is that you can always reorder this. And something like the principal's message, we'll want to have this towards the top of the menu as well. And we can also go in and edit the dashboard items. So we want to remember, this is essentially like the home page on the mobile app. It is a little bit more detailed in that you can edit how many items appear from news and calendars, as an example. That can be accessed by going in, clicking edit, and you can choose how many items would appear from those modules there. So that is something there that is pretty cool. Oh, and this is a great question. Marianne mentions, this is an excellent point, Marianne, that you mentioned you do not have the homepage alert under messaging. So this is definitely something that can be added. What you're going to want to do for this is you'll want to reach out to our tech support team in a ticket, and we would be happy to go ahead and happy to enable that for you. It's an excellent point for that. So there are actually two different versions of the homepage alert. We have one that was previously created with sections. The current version, though, is basically its own module. It would go under messaging. So definitely, to get that enabled, you just want to send in a ticket to our tech support team. So now that we've had a chance to talk about linking to social media, the mobile app, homepage alerts, what are the next steps from here? So taking a look over here, everyone, one thing that you can do to encourage parents and students to download the app, and that you can request this regardless if you have the branded version of the app or the free version, we can add download buttons to your home page. That is a great way to go for that. And that's a great way to encourage, to increase the number of parents and students who have downloaded this as well. The best way forward to request this is you're going to want to send in a ticket for that. And we'd be happy to go ahead and happy to assist with that. And with that as well, after you check for that, linking to social media, going in, making sure that you have gone in and set up that connection. And once you've done that, what you're going to be able to do is from those 6 features, 4 of them from news, calendars, the community mailer, spotlight. When you go in and add content to the site at the same exact time, you can post to social media. For the photo albums module and the video gallery, you'll have to post your new album first, and then after you do that, you can go back in and then you can post. Now, it's not the entire photo album, it's the cover photo and a link back to the album on the site, but you'll be able to go in and post that after you've initially added the album on for that as well. And then also, as we talked about a little bit earlier, if you're not seeing the homepage alert, no worries. What you'll want to do as well is you'll want to send in a ticket to our tech support team, and we'll be happy to go ahead and we'll be happy to add that on. All right, everybody. Well, at this time, I am happy to help with any questions you have. In the meantime, I want to show you, speaking of tech support, where you'll go to send in a ticket. Now, something that's important to note is that for all requests for tech support, for changes to your website, we do ask that they are sent in as a ticket for security purposes. You have a couple of ways that you can go in and do this. The main way being is you're going to head over here to the waffle button. After that, you'll go in, you'll select help desk, and then you'll go in and click create a ticket. Now, Green Tech has multiple departments. It is set up for internal tickets, which is pretty cool. That is a neat option to have. You can set that up so if staff members have maintenance requests, they can send that on there as well. They can send those tickets to you, to your maintenance staff for that. But otherwise, for our tech support team, you want to go in and fill this out. It is best when you're sending in a ticket just to be as detailed as possible. One of the things that I always suggest when you're sending in a ticket, as an example, if you'd like us to embed a document on a page, definitely something we can do. I would just suggest going in and including a link to the page you want us to go in and add that onto. And that'll help our team complete your ticket for you more quickly. All righty, everyone. Well, hey, I want to thank you all so much for taking the time out of your busy days to join us here for School Communication for the 21st Century. I'm your host, Ryan Clancy, the Client Success Manager here at Educational Networks. Now, remember, everybody, that if you have questions for myself, I do have my direct phone number as well as my email address as well. Keep an eye out. We are going to be hosting some more webinars next week, and I hope to see you all there. Build a Teacher page is going to be at 4:30 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. To sign up for that, you'll just want to access the webinar calendar for that. And that was sent out with the mailer as well. Everybody, as I always like to say at the end of these presentations, keep inspiring those future generations. And I look forward to seeing you all again really soon. Take care, everybody.